Welcome to Road to Redemption, a show sharing powerful life testimonies, giving hope to those on their own road to redemption.
Welcome into Road to Redemption. This is a weekly show, both on radio and podcast, where we share powerful life testimonies that give hope to people. And I have a dear friend here in the studio with me, Al Terry. How's it going, Al?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man. I've known you for what, eight years?
Probably longer than that.
Longer than that. And man, it's just been cool to see all that God's done in you and how He's used you and your amazing family, and Missy and 4 kids.
Yeah, we have 5.
5 kids.
Yeah.
5 kids.
Yeah, 4 daughters and 1 son.
4, that's right. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
And Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan's over there. Okay,
Easy.
so for all the listeners right now listening, Al and his wife Missy run a ministry called Hakima Ministries and in Kenya. And so why don't you just tell us a little bit about that first? Like what are you guys called to do?
Well, I have a computer background, so I'm a nerd, a numbers nerd, some demographics. And so one of the things that God used that can kind of bind you up a little bit. If you get too technical on certain things, you got to flow. But I just started looking at demographics, and the demographics of Kenya is a country of 45 million. It has 80% of the country is under the age of 30.
Wow.
And that's a number to sink in.
Really?
You kind of gloss over it at first. You're like 80% under the age of 30. So the average life expectancy in Kenya is 62.8 years.
Really?
70% of the 80% is 18 to 22. So that's the lane. That's our lane. That's our demographic, is that 18 to 22. So that's why we say with Hakima, we're transforming the now generation through education, because it really is just a now generation. I mean, we've got to get in there and get our hands dirty on what it's a country that's really valuable to East Africa, because Kenya has one of the only deep water ports on the Indian Ocean in Mombasa.
Okay.
So there's a lot of players over there and a lot of things going on. But for us, we try to find who's the least of these, of the 18 to 22-year-olds, and that's what we do. We have programs and things set up that's trying to just give people the opportunity to be productive.
Sure.
Not to be a burden, with Christ at the center of it all. Yeah.
So what does that look like, help them be productive? You place them in job opportunities?
Well, that, as much as anything, we try to give them, you got to understand how basic these people live. And what I mean by the least of these, in African culture, your family does everything for you. Your family finds your friends and who you can play with as a child, who you can play with and not play with, where you go to elementary school, high school, who's your boyfriend or girlfriend, who your wife is going to be, your spouse is selected for you. To the point where they pick your job for you. You would never walk into a business by yourself to apply for a job. No, your family, your uncles or somebody would go before you. And
got it.
Well, what if you come out of a children's home and you've been an orphan?
You don't have a family to help you with these things.
Nothing.
You're on your own.
On your own. And you've been one of how many are in this orphanage. And so you have no life skills whatsoever. So you don't know how to live on yourself, because you've been one of 400 people. And you live in an orphanage, and every so often a group of people comes from some country and play soccer with you all day, but they turn and they go home, and now you're stuck there. So now you turn 18, and by law you got to leave.
Wow. So
then what do you do? So that's what we're praying for the land. That's what it'll be used for, is something that's sort of like a gap year. The farm will be called Nirel, Nirel, which is Hebrew for God's plowed fields.
Wow, love that.
And that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a place where we can bring in the least of the most at risk, bring them into a place where we can help them open a bank account, teach them how to keep their room clean.
That's great.
You think it's simple things we learn from a child, but they don't, and they don't have a support function underneath them. So the journey of a pure heart, we talked about the definition of Hakima. That's really where our lane is, and that's what we move in, and that's the demographic we focus a lot on.
Wow, that's powerful, Alan. I just so thank you for accepting that call and saying yes to the Lord and doing that, and that you guys go and play soccer with those kids and you don't go home, that you're there. Yeah. And that is home, and I'm sure that has changed their lives. Those children, gosh, man, that's pretty inspiring. And I just want to know, how did you go from nerdy computer programmer writing code to doing CrossFit 6,000 feet up on a mountain in Kenya. I'm like, it's pretty incredible. So what does that journey look like?
It's a journey. I guess you could say everybody has one, the same journey. For me, I'm just a local guy. You know, it's one thing about us and people that get involved with us is that we're not some outfit from New York or something that is just a branch or something, whatever. We're homegrown. We're Walton County. Our kids went to school here. I coached basketball at South Walton. Missy coached track and field and cross country. We owned a running store here. It's our church. You know, we're from here.
Yeah, you guys have done like Ironman, and
I've done 2, and Missy's done 6.
that is unbelievable, man.
Yeah. So,
I just want everyone to know Ironman. Like, this guy is the real deal that I'm sitting in front of. Right, that's a 3-mile swim followed by 112 mile bike ride, and then a full marathon after that. Like, you have a day to finish all of this.
Yeah.
And it would take me a day.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
10 hours.
10 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. So, wow, man. Well, good. That's incredible. And so when do you feel like the Lord was just like laying this idea on your heart?
Well, I feel like, you know, God created all of us for a reason. There's as your life, your journey in life is unfolding, we make decisions, and, you know, obedience is greater than sacrifice, God would say. And so I got to a point in my life where I knew when I was born again, when I was 13, that God had placed an assignment on me. You know, He spoke that into my heart, you know, spoke life to my destiny. But I got to a point in my life where I wasn't seeing the power of God. And I just had to get real, and I had to sit on the edge of my bed one night with my Bible opened up, and I said, Lord, this is either true or it's not. But I knew in my heart, man, I was like afraid, a little bit apprehensive to pray this prayer, because for me, coming to that place where I came into contact with if it's real, you want to really know, you know, take the blue pill, the red pill. You really want to know, you're going to have to be all in.
Wow.
You can't have a divided heart.
Wow.
You can't live, you can't have 2 sets of friends. I was pretty good at that.
Serving 2 masters.
You can't. And I just said, you know what, God, I'm so tired. I can't handle the weight of being a hypocrite like this anymore. And I don't want to take my last breath and have realized that I could have experienced the Red Sea in my life somewhere. So that's what I did, man. I came to that point where I just said, Lord, I'm tired of trying to do my own thing. But at the same time, God, I know that if I really pray this prayer, it's all in.
So there's God's like, you sure about that? Because I'm about to rock your world, baby. Are you all in? And so you said, Lord, I'm all in. And then what happened?
Well, it was some time after that. I mean, you know, God's going to step back and see, is that emotions or flesh or spirit, or what is that? Are you really serious about it? So, you know, God is subtle. He doesn't, you know, He takes us in, like Jonah, He takes us to private places and quiet places and dark places where it's intimate, where He can begin to mold us and shape us and make the change that He's spoken over us, make it real, make it tangible, you know? And then so for me, it began with just serving in the local body and serving. You know, I was playing praise and worship on the praise and worship team here. But that was something that was a gift I had that I enjoyed playing, and I was good at it, you know? And so it was never a task, really. It wasn't a sacrifice. So when I began to say, Lord, here I am, use me, He began to take me out from behind the drum set and playing praise and worship to having me come into agreement with my wife. Now, how are we going to serve as a team? And that's when ministry became real for me and began to bear fruit for real change, is when I began to say, okay, Missy, this is not you doing your thing and me doing my thing. Right. Where do we walk together?
We're going to do something big together.
So, we started cleaning toilets. We started vacuuming the church.
I love it.
We, because we were in the skating rink, so we were cleaning up and straightening chairs and coming early and setting up the stage and wiping down the soundboard, and I loved every second of it, man. It was so good. I was doing it with her,
Yeah.
And then the journey went a little deeper. And
tell me about it.
I started reading.
Okay.
And I started reading guys like A.W. Tozer. I started reading The Pursuit of God and The Knowledge of the Holy. I started reading some guys a little bit. I started reading a lot of Charles Spurgeon, and I started reading a lot of Joyce Meyer. I was reading everybody, and I was getting a little bit from everybody. Plus, Pastor Steve is just, I think he's the greatest preaching teacher we've got around here, with the hands down. That's just me being biased, though. But when I start reading Tozer and Red Radical, and Crazy Love from Francis Chan, and Not a Friend, and all of these. I started reading all these books, and
you're like, that's it, we're going to Africa.
Yeah, I started thinking, man, my walk is,
if you read Radical and you don't want to go to Honduras immediately the next day, man, something's wrong with you.
You don't have a heartbeat or something, man. You begin to, you really come to the reality of, is my faith real or not? Sure. I mean, am I just going through the motions, or is it superficial? So I was in my prayer closet one night, and there's the one prayer that the last prayer that I needed to pray that I just didn't want to pray. And that is, God, whatever, wherever, however, just take all that I have, man.
Do you think you didn't want to pray because you kind of knew?
Man, I think maybe I did, not consciously, but I think I may have known.
Yeah.
But
because it was going to be something big.
It was going to be, yeah. Oh. And so I just knew that, well, it's maybe not even knowing, but hey, you're out there now.
Yeah.
You made the prayer.
Yeah, sure.
Can't take it back.
Yeah.
And so, I prayed it, but for me, it was instant.
Come on.
As soon as I got up, I walked outside to Missy, and I said, Missy, God just called us to the mission field. And she looked right at me. And you know how Missy is. She's a 6-time Ironman, okay? She got a bachelor's degree in secondary education from Florida State while owning a running store, triathlon store, Run for Your Life. We own that.
She's incredible.
She's a foster mom, so she's got 3 of her own kids. She's raising 2 foster girls, and she's coaching cross country and track, and she's putting up with me.
Oh, she's Superwoman. I know that.
She ain't got time to be dilly dallying around.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, and she said, okay, well, I cleave unto you. If God's called you, He called me, but He called us a while back. I knew it, but it was me that had to come to
Sure.
So we said, okay. So in that process, I want to just say this, whenever you have a moment like that in a crossroads of your life, not a crossroads, but maybe there's a door, I don't want to get too super spiritual about it, but when you're at that door that God is saying, you really want me to open this door? When you're, yes, God, I really want that door opened up. Okay, there's some responsibility that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And when I open this door, I'm going to expect you to walk into it and not look back. Mm-hmm. That's when we stop and say, Lord, I don't have a plan B. I don't know if I want you to open that door or not. If you come to that point, I really want to encourage people to don't go around telling everybody. First and foremost, the very first thing that Missy and I did was we made an appointment with Pastor Steve. And just kind of maybe if I had to step back a minute, I would have to say that when I made the first prayer, when I said, God, I know I need to be all in. Part of my all in experience was having my pastor be my pastor and not just the guy that talks on Sundays. Because then I begin to submit to an authority and to be able to trust God to use my pastor in a biblical way that I wasn't really, I've known Steve for a long time. He was commissioner of Little League Baseball in South Walton for several years. So, I knew him on that level, but I wasn't really, I was hard-headed, I was prideful, I was stubborn. When I came to that point, I was like, I just wanted to do it right. I didn't want to mess up. And I didn't want to get it wrong.
Sure.
Everything was at stake.
Yeah.
And that's the way I wanted to approach it, is that everything was on the line right now. And that was part of it.
You have this, the Lord spoke to you on this. You feel like it's clear, and you brought it to Pastor Steve, and you're submitting it to him saying, what are your thoughts on this?
At that point, I was scared he would say no.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
But we had made it our minds. Missy and I had settled it in our hearts that if we went to Pastor Steve and Jackie and we said to them what God was speaking to us, if they said no, it was going to be no.
Sure.
Or else he's not the pastor. We need to move on.
Right.
But just thank God he said yes.
Amen.
It didn't take him 5 seconds. He goes, yep,
Yeah,
I
because he
agree
hears
with
from
that.
the Lord.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And so it's still at that point, we didn't tell anybody. We kept that close to our chest because, you know, I didn't need to hear all the reasons why I shouldn't do it. I needed people around me that spoke life to the potential that was in me that I didn't know was in me for myself. You know, a man's greatest fear is failure.
Sure.
So I didn't need someone telling me all the ways I was going to fail. I needed people speaking life into me and the things that told me every reason why I should.
Yep.
That's one of the great things about having a wife like Missy is that she don't take no for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely no quit in that woman. But so we kept our godly counsel close to our chest and just a small group of people. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until probably, I would say 3 months into maybe 6 months before we were going to leave that we actually told the kids.
Yeah.
We didn't tell anybody.
What a big conversation.
You know,
what do you guys think about America? Because we're leaving.
How do you like living in Destiny?
How do you like driving down to Publix at any point that you want, or driving a car?
Well, and at that point too, we really had narrowed in on. So Pastor Steve gave us 4 T's: territory, timing, team, and treasure.
Ooh.
And treasure comes last because it takes the greatest amount of faith. And so, you know, the thing what Pastor Steve did to us, he didn't just grab us by the back of the neck and say, oh, great, I've got 2 suckers for the mission field. Let me go find somebody that I know and go give them some space to go find themselves. He pastored us. And he said, okay, out in front of you, there are going to be these crossroads. When you find one of them and get an answer, come back to me and tell me what it is. So that's what we did. And over the next 2 years, we found the T's. I was hoping it would be Belize.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm thinking somewhere like it looks a little more familiar. You know, there's, deep sea fish and whatever it might be. But no, God said, let's. It was weird how it came to be Kenya. That's a story unto itself. But
we'll need part 2 for that one.
You'd need part 2 for that one. Yeah, for sure.
Incredible.
But that's an incredible journey in itself.
So you guys are in Africa at this point. Do you ever have any like what have I done moments?
For sure. I don't think the people that we were in communication with, I honestly don't think they really thought we were coming. Mm-hmm. I think they probably had a lot of people in the past that said they were, and for some reason found an excuse not to get there. But man, we got there.
They're like, heard that before. Yeah,
because we had spent 2 years sending them business plans, and we were going to go there like everybody else. Let's go to Africa and open a children's home, and that's what we were going to do. And we got there, and we had been sending them business plans or whatever, and we got to the place where we were staying, which was like a compound with a house on it, whatever. It's pouring down rain. Now, just think about this for a minute. The moment you decide you got to go, you take 2 suitcases with you, and everything in your life has got to fit into those 2 50-pound suitcases. Mm-hmm. Everything else is given away.
Wow.
Well, that's what we did. I think Missy gave you a bike.
Yeah, I did. I still have one of your bikes. Yes.
No, it's your bike, brother. The Asperides family got all of Nathan's Nerf war guns. I mean, we were at the EXO conference. We talked about that. He goes, man, I'll never forget all the toys we got from you guys. But that's what we did. We gave everything away, and that's the whole point of it. You know, a suitcase weighs about 8 pounds, so you've got about 84 pounds of your stuff. Everything else is gone, and you start over. We gave everything away.
Unreal.
I couldn't have a plan B, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a religious or spiritual thing. Yeah. It was a personal thing because I knew that if I had a plan B, I might give up.
Yeah. Reminds me of the I don't know who it was, the explorer back in the day that burned the ships. And he landed on the land, and he was afraid that his men would want to go back. And he said, no, we're not going. There is no plan B.
Can't.
Burn the ships, which is a pretty jerk move thing to do to his friends. But so you guys, y'all burned the ships. I mean, you gave all your stuff. You sold all you have to the, and went and followed Christ to Africa.
Yeah. When we got off got out of the little van we drove from Nairobi about 3 hours north. It was pouring down rain, and we got out holding our 2 little suitcases there. And blue jeans are really expensive, right? I mean, they're not expensive, but they're heavy. Uh-huh. They are expensive, but they're heavy. And so I had like 4 pairs of blue jeans on, and I had like 8 shirts and all, because I couldn't put it in my backpack, Wow. And I didn't know what to expect,
Sure.
So we got off, and the first thing the people start coming out and saying, well, who are you as?
So what's something that I'm sure you have countless stories, Al, but give me like a really incredible God story that you're seeing in Kenya. Something recent or something. What's something that you're like, that was only God?
Okay. We're seeing, for example, hope. No question, hope. Kenya's the 40th poorest country in the world. So it's poorer than Guatemala and Nicaragua, Honduras, you name it. Wow. I mean, it's dirt poor. And so we're seeing people that are having hope because these are people who couldn't even get an ID card because they didn't think they could. And now they're just small things you think are small to us.
Sure.
But they're massive to people. We're seeing things as on a bigger scale. We're seeing that come to light. We're learning how to navigate those places. We can't go into a place like that and, hey, you guys need to change and whatever, because they don't hear from us like you would think. They don't hear me say, you shouldn't do circumcision because that's not God's intent for you. They hear me say, my mom's bad. You're saying, I'm bad. There's something wrong with me because they've all been through that. We've been educating people about how, and this goes back to Hakima and the name of it, and what we're doing with it is we're trying to educate people to see it for themselves. And we lay it on the table in different ways. We have seminars and we do different things, but we have it where they come, especially the men. If the men get hold of that, it'll stop. All the way up to where I've been out in I did a lot of remote outreaches. We show the Jesus film a lot. It's one of the things that I do is I've got a big Land Cruiser, I've got a generator, and I've got a big screen, and I'll go out in the middle of the bush, and the teams that come, we take a screen, we go out and we campus the area with everybody going door to door, which for people who are not used to praying for strangers, that's one of the things we do. And we bring teams over. We don't build so many things. I take you out and I make you do evangelism. I get you out of your comfort zone there. But I've seen thousands of people. I've lost track how many people we've baptized. I've seen thousands and thousands of people get saved and come to Christ. And I've been in places where they had never seen white people or heard of Jesus, and we preached the gospel to them, and they were saved. To the point where I had a guy I was in an area on the Kenyan-Ugandan border, and we just went out. I had a translator with me, and there was a guy out there who literally had everything was homemade. His bow and arrow, his bow was homemade. His arrows were homemade. I wanted that bow and arrow, man. It was bad, man. It was awesome. And he's out there not playing around, man. He's sorted up. He's got his spears and all this stuff, And so, so I just started asking him about how do you resolve conflict? Because that's what Jesus did for us, right? Paul said, I've got this ministry of reconciliation. And so that's what you try to do when you go into these cultures that have not been exposed to Christ, is how do you resolve conflicts? Sure. So that's what I did. And I said, okay, well, look, at any point in time, I'll leave you alone. I'll walk away. Okay. And I said, but right now I'll say 2 words. And if you feel something in here, you tell me. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And the guy steps back. He puts his hands over his head, his ears. He starts going, what are you saying to me? What are you doing to me? What's happening to me? And the guy's like freaking out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I've got a picture of it somewhere on, but I've got there was a little mud hole there. And I said, okay, well, the next part is, man, we're going to explain to him the water, what it would do, just symbolize, because he had all of his guys there too. Yeah. And they're all like, what's wrong with him? What are you doing? What are you doing to him?
Yeah.
And so, they're all sorted up and they're not playing around. And, I baptized him right there in a little
had church
mud
right
hole,
there in the middle.
Right there. Yeah. Then his buddy came up and his buddy got saved, and I tried to do the same thing, but he didn't have any. They have this. It's like a blanket they lay over one of their shoulders, and they bring it down, and it kind of droops in the front and the back, and then they put a belt on that they wear their swords and stuff on. Well, the other guy didn't have anything on underneath that. He was a little afraid he might get exposed. So, but that's probably the craziest thing I've seen. I'd say I've seen a lot of miracles and stuff, but there's no greater miracle than salvation.
Amen. And I'm sure you're seeing lots of lives saved. And what are y'all believing for right now? What's your biggest prayer? I mean, I know you have plenty, but what's something that you're like, man, this would be a huge miracle for us?
Yeah, I mean, going into, for us, we've got several on an administrative level as far as the Hakima goes. Hakima we are an incorporated charitable trust, which is kind of like a 501c3 here. So we've basically created a missions organization now, because all of our work permits, I sponsor work permits, and all the titles and everything are in the name of the trust now. Nothing's in my name anymore. We're believing for the land.
Okay.
Believing for the finances for the land.
Okay.
We need a place to put our flag in the ground.
Okay.
And we've kind of been, we do it here and do it there. And we use schools, we use elementary schools and different places to do ministry in. And then we do a lot of churches as well. But we need our place of our own. We've been there 8 years now.
Okay.
So we need some money.
Got it.
Yeah.
Land and building, place to operate out of.
Yep.
Well, we're going to be believing for that.
Amen.
If somebody wants to get connected with you and maybe even do a trip out there, how can they do that? HakimaMinistries.org. Okay. That's easy.
HAKIMA Ministries.org. They can go on there and they can partner with us financially. They can pray for us. They can get signed up for our newsletter. Yeah.
I'm going to come out there.
Come on.
I don't like that I haven't. You've been talking about it for years now.
I know. I thought you and Kelsey'd already be out there by now, but we got a CrossFit rig built out there.
Let's go, man.
8,000 feet, man.
Hey, stay on top of me about it, okay? I'm gonna come out there and no, but really, I love what y'all are doing, and I think it's incredible. I said it to you earlier. We were praying together, you and I, and I just believe that you never look more like Jesus than when you love the least of these. Yeah. And that was his heart, and to be the hands and feet of Jesus in Kenya, it's just incredible. And I'm honored to be here in your presence, man. Sitting in front of you. You're an incredible guy, Al. You and Missy and your entire family. And I know you got your kids now kind of following in the same footsteps. That's unbelievable to be able to do this ministry with your children. That's incredible. Yeah,
the girls hated being there. You got to think 15-year-old girls, you uprooted them. They're destined girls.
Oh, I don't know how you pulled that off.
But they got there. Well, I pulled it off because there's zebras and there's all kinds of. Yeah, they got there, and then it was like it was a real struggle for them, and now they can't wait to go back. They work to save their money to make trips back.
Now you see giraffes, and it's not even a big deal, right?
No, not really.
Seeing a cat run across the road or something.
Yeah, zebras and lions and leopards and all that stuff. I don't think nothing about it anymore.
Sounds pretty cool to me. But awesome, and hey, well, listen, we want to again just encourage everybody out there. That to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to answer that call like Al did. And it may not necessarily look like moving to a third world country or something like that, but it may just look like talking to the guy at the gas station, like just taking that step and sharing the gospel to that waiter that you got a sense about.
It didn't start off going to Kenya.
Right.
It started off just being made available to change my schedule because my calendar was my idol. And I had to be willing to lay something down that was special to me and start serving, and I got a whole life worth of reward out of it. So,
and also too, before we close, I just want to say, like, it was never about necessarily Kenya for you in the beginning. It was just about being obedient.
Yeah,
and the Lord highlighted that part for you. And I think so many times in life we're so concerned about finding God's will for our lives that really what we should be doing is finding God's life for our will.
Oh, that's good.
Like, I'm going to pursue the Lord and just Him. And like you said, and everybody that comes in this studio says the same thing. It changed when I opened the Bible. It changed when I opened the Bible. Every single person that has come in here, I said, what was the turning point for you? When I opened the Bible. And that was it for you. And when I pursue the Lord and try to find His life, that will that I've been trying to pursue, whatever I'm supposed to do with my hands, wherever I'm supposed to live, He shows all that to you. Mm-hmm. And He's got all that figured out. And we just need to follow Him. And so, Al, I love you, man. And
love you too,
I'm
man.
so thankful that you're here, brother. And I'm thankful for what you guys are called to do. For all those listening, please, HakimaMinistries.org. Mm-hmm. Perfect. And then you can also reach out to us at contact@destinyradio.live to share your stories. Or if you would like to do a trip out to Kenya, reach out to them, reach out to us, and we'll make that happen. I'm going to come out there.
Come on.
All right, brother. All right. Take care, man.
Thanks, Sam.
You've been listening to Road to Redemption, sharing powerful life testimonies, giving hope to those on their own road to redemption. If you have any comments or questions, we would love to connect with you. You can reach out to us at destinyradio.live. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week on Road to Redemption.